What's up YouTube, Capital G here, and what in tarnation is going on with these Dark Savior booster boxes? This is absolutely insane. I don't think that I've seen anything quite like this in some time. This is the type of shit that happens in Magic the Gathering, but definitely not in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where sealed booster boxes are going for almost double the original MSRP. That is absolutely crazy, and I really don't have an explanation as to why that is. So I'm on TCGplayer.com, and you guys can see, even after I refresh the page, the current asking price of these boxes is basically $120 a copy. Now this is absolutely outrageous. I believe that a lot of these booster boxes, usually MSRP is somewhere around like $70 to $80. Generally when I buy boxes for my tournaments, for my Twitch live stream, I don't want to pay more than $70. So if you guys actually watch my live stream, just know that June's tournament will not have a Dark Saviors booster box if it's going to be this price. Even when you go to eBay, where it is a little bit cheaper, you see that roughly the cheapest is $95, which is still generally about $25 more than, you know, most people expect to spend on booster boxes. I did actually see one listing right here, a couple of them for, well, this one right here, which is going to run you about 82 bucks. The problem is when this single listing is gone, then it basically jumps right back up to that $95 price point. And I tried to figure this one out. I tried to get some ideas as to why the boxes have skyrocketed, because they're inflated across the line. Like, is there a shortage or something like that, or are just a lot more people excited about the archetypes inside? I mean, I think at this point, most people aren't really looking forward to the vampires, or most people aren't looking at picking them up competitively. It's just kind of a little bit of a niche archetype, and for hire, or more of a meme than they are actually a competitive archetype. So obviously it revolves around the Sky Strikers, and you know, when you look at the best-selling cards in this set from singles, none of them are like crazy expensive. A lot of the Sky Striker cards, like they're super rare. They're only like $1. We know the chase cards in this set. We know that there's Startup Engage and Hornet Bit, but I don't understand why the price is going up, because it's not like these single cards are actually going up. Like you see, Startup Engage is still, well, actually, no, it looks like it has gone up a little bit. I guess I'm lying here. You know, the card was about $100, but damn, now it just went up like another $10, give or take. And yeah, this is actually crazy. Wow, this is insane. You can basically either buy a box or you can buy the actual card. Now I think that my best theory as to why the price of Dark Saviors is actually skyrocketed is probably that there are just a lot more people who want to play the Sky Striker archetype than anticipated. I think that, like, if you just look at Sky Strikers on paper, they're not actually that impressive, and I did my card reviews on the entire archetype and I was like, okay, this is kind of neat, very similar to like something like Invoked, where you really just have one main deck monster and then you have a bunch of extra deck cards of different attributes. I was like, all right, it's kind of cool. But then when I actually saw the deck function and I actually played a couple of duels against it with Altergeist, the deck that I'm most comfortable with, post Multi-Faker and Flames of Destruction, I dueled against the deck a few times and I was like, oh my god, this deck is absolutely for real, especially when I dueled against it and it had Darkest Diablos in, which I will stress every time I mention the Sky Strikers. If you're not playing Darkest Diablos, I really believe that you're playing it wrong, and I do believe that the Sky Striker pure builds are better than like the Goki builds and, you know, the Sky Striker Spiral, because then you can like brick and it's like the deck is already consistent enough. I think I might actually do a full video breaking down the archetype as a whole a little later, maybe next week or something like that. But I honestly think that a lot of people weren't completely sold on the archetype a little ways back when it was first revealed, and now that it's actually here, now that we saw some of the dominance that it had in the OCG, where it was consistently a top 2 or 3 deck, and now we see the first couple of weeks, well, the first full week of competitive play where it's like winning, you know, these nationals in Europe, and it's actually taking first place at regionals, and people haven't even gotten like the ratios absolutely in stone as to like what is the best ratio of this card, what's the best ratio of that card. So I feel like we're still kind of experimenting with the deck builds, and people have already acknowledged like it's amazing. And I personally actually feel kind of stupid, because I was going to make a video specifically in regards to Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, and I was going to talk about why you shouldn't spend $100 or upwards of $100 on this card, because, and it won't be for the obvious reasons. Some people might be, oh Cap, you don't think the card is that good? No, that's not it. I believe that this card is actually so good it should be limited to one. It's probably one of the most over cartoon Rota spells that we've ever had in this game's history. It's not because I don't believe in Sky Strikers as a deck. I actually believe that a pure version of Sky Strikers is the best deck of the format, not the Goki or the Spiral crap. Just play the deck pure as it is. You don't need that many monsters. 3 Ray and then like 1 Darkest Diablos and then some hand traps. That's probably it. But it's really because I just didn't think that this card would keep this price. In fact, I actually believe that the card is worth this $110. I just didn't think that it would stay this expensive this long, because you guys know, if you look historically, even when the best deck has one card that you pretty much have to run at 3, and that card is initially released at about $100, it generally doesn't stay there that long. You can look at a couple of examples from the end of the Arc V era and True Draco and obviously Zoodiac, right? Zoodiac Barrage was like $100 card, and then, you know, as Zoodiac kind of just went on, and I guess people got fatigue of them, the card obviously plummeted. And the same thing can be said pretty much about Diagram. Diagram is still used right now in, you know, True Draco at 3, and it's still probably a top 5 deck in the game, maybe the 5th best, 6th best deck, somewhere around that, and yet the card's only, what, 25 something dollars. So, although, you know, maybe it's a little skewed now because they have announced a reprint, but it's not like even when True Draco won a YCS out in, what, Salt Lake City, it's not like, you know, Diagram was anywhere near $100. So I kind of felt like it would happen with this card too, and it really is just kind of a sign of the times. Like, I don't really think that people aren't as adjusted to paying $100, you know, for one copy of a card as we were in previous eras of Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially if you look at like GX, and 5Ds was a little cheaper, but there definitely were some $100 cards. And Lord have mercy, Zexal, my goodness, Dino Rabbit, look up some of them prices of Torgot at its height when it was $180 at its maximum height, or, you know, when Rescue Rabbit was like $120, and obviously playing Dino Rabbit, you ran 3 of those cards each. Lagia, Doka, both $40 cards. Like, we don't really have those days anymore. We usually have like one card in the game that's floating around $100 and permanence, you know, somewhere around that, but it never really transfers over to the core booster set being expensive as well. Usually the booster set just kind of stays the same, and I don't know, maybe Konami just maybe they really hit this one out of the park. I think that Sky Strikers, people obviously are super excited to play them, and I can't see any way that these prices can stay at $90 to $120 for a booster set when it should be about $70. You guys let me know what you think of this, and is there any potential of you buying some of these Dark Savior booster boxes at this price? I know personally there's no way I would buy this. I'm not even really that interested in playing you know, the Sky Strikers. I might mess around with for hire, but definitely not at these prices. I'll just buy singles for this. So whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos.